Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Did everyone have a good weekend?
Yes.
Good. It's good to see you back here. We have another busy week. On a scheduling note, tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history. We are truly coming off a historic week of President Trump racking up win after win on behalf of the American people. President Trump restored peace through strength and acted decisively as commander-in-chief to obliterate the immediate threat of the Iranian regime's nuclear capabilities and then brokered a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, which continues to hold. Then, the president traveled to the Netherlands and achieved a monumental win for the United States and the NATO alliance by getting our allies to dedicate 5% of their GDPs to military spending. As a result of President Trump unleashing American energy dominance, summer gas prices are at the lowest they have been in 4 years, heading into the July 4th week. And with the incoming Trump economic boom, the stock market continues to roar back with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both hitting record highs. And on this point of an economic boom, I bring to you original correspondence from the President of the United States to our Fed Chair, Jerome Powell. As the President has consistently stated, the American economy is booming. And there were so many economic analysts who said that this president's policies would drive our economy down, when in fact we have seen the opposite. We've seen a massive deregulation campaign take place. We've seen inflation completely diminished from where it was under the reckless spending and the bad policies of the previous incompetent administration. I would remind the Fed chair, and I would remind the entire world, that this is a president who was a businessman first, and he knows what he is doing. He has a proven economic formula that worked in his first term as president, and it is working again. The one problem that remains is high interest rates for the American people. The American people want to borrow money cheaply, and they should be able to do that. But unfortunately, we have interest rates that are still too high. So the president sent this note to the Fed chair today. And if you look at this chart, this is a chart of all of the interest rates of many countries throughout the world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand, Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde, South Korea, Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world. The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being lost, and there is no inflation. And the president is right. There is historically low inflation thanks to his policies. And we will continue to drive down the cost of living in this country for Americans. We will continue to deregulate. And it's also incredibly important that we pass this one big, beautiful bill, which is the largest tax cuts in American history.
In a high-stakes political briefing held in Washington, D.C., Karoline Leavitt, former Trump White House staffer and current Republican congressional candidate, delivered a moment that stunned both allies and adversaries. Known for her bold rhetoric and staunch conservative views, Leavitt has always been a vocal presence. But during this particular event, she did something different. She relied not on emotion or political slogans, but on raw, undisputed data. As part of a panel discussion on national policy, Leavitt was asked about the state of the U.S. economy under the current administration. Instead of offering the usual talking points, she calmly turned to the projector, pulled up a chart, and clicked to full screen. The graph showed a stark comparison between economic indicators during the Trump administration and those under the Biden administration. The data covered inflation rates, energy costs, housing prices, real wages, and national debt, all shown in a side-by-side format. The visual impact was immediate. A clear upward trend in inflation and living costs post-2021 contrasted sharply with relative stability from 2017 to 2020. It wasn't just a political jab. It was a data-driven argument. What made the room go silent wasn't simply the content of the chart. It was the undeniability of the numbers. Lawmakers, reporters, and analysts paused. The silence that followed wasn't from agreement or approval, but from an abrupt shift in tone. The room went from debate to introspection. Leavitt didn't stop there. She pointed to a portion of the chart showing average household energy costs, which had nearly doubled in some states since 2021. She then connected that data to policy decisions on domestic energy production, arguing that restrictions on oil drilling and pipeline development had led to increased dependence on foreign energy sources, ultimately hurting the American middle class. Next, she addressed inflation. When you flood the economy with trillions of dollars in unchecked spending, she said, you get this. She pointed to a red spike on the graph representing 2022, a year where inflation hit a 40-year high. The implication was clear. Economic pain wasn't an accident. It was the result of specific legislative decisions. What really resonated was how she concluded her presentation, not with fiery partisanship, but with a challenge. Forget red or blue. Look at the green. These numbers don't lie. And if we keep ignoring them, we're failing the American people. Analysts later remarked that this moment showed a maturing side of Leavitt's political identity. Instead of focusing solely on cultural issues or MAGA messaging, she chose a strategy centered on facts and transparency. Even critics had to admit the power of data presented plainly. The viral nature of the moment, clips of the chart presentation were shared across social media platforms, turned it into a defining point in her campaign. Conservatives praised her for her clarity. Independents found themselves intrigued. Even some liberal commentators acknowledged the effectiveness of her message, if not the conclusion she drew. In an age of political noise, Karoline Leavitt used a simple tool, an economic chart, to cut through it all. The silence in the room wasn't just surprise, it was recognition. Whether one agreed with her or not, it was impossible to ignore the message. Numbers, when used wisely, still hold power in American politics.